in this episode, following up on manipulating space. The whole purpose of practicing that skill, as I showed before, where you're learning how to move, maybe you're kind of isolating the hand, or you're manipulating the space in between yourself and the opponent, or the space within your sphere of influence. The other reason why you want to learn how to manipulate space is not only to be able to collapse in on a person, to cut down on the amount of distance you need to cover to hit them, but also, let's say I'm going to throw a strike. But what I want to do is I want to get offline and get closer. So rather than just throw the strike, as I'm moving, I'm also kind of collapsing in on them. And as you can see this, I'm kind of getting this effect. And what that does is it actually disorients people. So in other words, one of the ways I set it up is I may fake like I'm going to do the jab, and then I'm stepping and then I'm going to hit. And what I'm doing is I'm altering their perception of timing, and I'm trying to get them to react to the fist. I may fake the fist and then shift my body where I'm doing this kind of thing and then follow through. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. And it's not just limited to what I'm showing. So for example, if I'm fighting with Jack, you know, we've already gotten past, talking about each other's mothers, all that stuff. And he's throwing a strike, and see how his body is turning here. Now let's say, as he's throwing the strike, he just sends the arm. Well, if I move, he's kind of shot his wad, so to speak, because he's now kind of given up his arm. I'm not saying it won't hurt, but he's allowed me time to possibly move to at least roll with the punch, so to speak. But now, if he moves his body and he moves, boom, what he's doing is he's closing off this gap, but he's actually making little micro adjustments with his arm so to ensure he maintains enough full range of motion to be able to hit me. You actually see boxers do this all the time, where they throw a punch, they may lead off with the jab, and they'll step, and they'll actually keep their hand here. It looks like they pull their hand back, but they actually retract the arm as they move forward simultaneously, and then they hit again. Very effective technique. You can even do it with a hook punch, where instead of doing this, I rotate the body and I close the distance, or I start throwing it, then I may move the body and then adjust. And what it does is it just allows you to be able to manipulate the space in between yourself and the person you're dealing with. So as I'm here and I want to bring this hand over top, boom. If he moves, I now have enough range of motion in my arms to follow through and also make adjustments as I go along. And again, really effective technique, but you got to practice it. When you're practicing with a partner, my biggest thing is you just got to be very careful, because as you're doing this, you're actually altering the perception of timing of the other person, and if they turn the wrong way, or you're moving a little too fast in the beginning, you end up poking somebody in the eye or punching them in the throat, and then that kind of sucks, because then you run out of training partners. Hey, thanks for watching the video. You know what you got to do. Hit the button below and subscribe.